readers, welcome back to Reading Realm. I know it has been a couple weeks since I posted. Stuff got really hectic. I was in really intense burnout, so I just took some time off because I was moving and I just finished a pretty intense quarter of school. As you can see, I have my new little setup area with all of my nice book artwork, so it's the perfect filming spot now. And I'm going to be doing, three reviews today, in this spot, and then I'm actually leaving for college again tomorrow as of the day this is posted. So, this is going to be briefly here, back to college, and then back here in a few months. But I figured I should do another progress video on what I've read so far on my list for this year and how much I have left. Like I said, I did have a lot of stuff going on with school, and I got pretty deep into burnout for a while, so I wasn't able to keep up quite as much as I wanted to. So I'm not sure if I'll finish all 42 books that I had on my list this year, but the ones that I don't, I'll carry over into next year. And so, starting with what I have finished, I have finished and already reviewed Sweet and Bitter Magic, which is such a good book. I really, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. If you haven't seen that review, go check it out. It's got a really interesting lesbian relationship, really interesting world building, very good. On to more amazing world building, of course, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After and A Curse for True Love. And this series, I want to read it again. While I was unpacking here and moving, I found Caraval again, and I really want to read that and review it now, but I already have so many others on my list for this year. This series is absolutely amazing. The art on the covers is amazing. I just love all of it. It's such an incredible series. I love it. I wish there were more already. Unfortunately, there are not. I hope she writes some more books soon, because I will definitely read them. And yeah, these just, I love them. Go read them. Go read Caraval first if you haven't, because like I said in the reviews for those, there are spoilers. And then the ones that I have finished more recently, which I still need to film the reviews for, which I'm going to be doing right after this. I have finally finished As Good as Dead, which is the third and final one in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This book was a little bit hard for me to start reading, but ultimately I really liked it, and I'll talk about that more in the review of it, which I'll be posting in the next couple weeks. But I'm really happy someone recommended to me that I read this series, because I really, really enjoyed it, and it's not one that I think I would have read on my own if someone hadn't recommended it to me, so thank you for that. The next one, which I have talked about the fact that I'm reading, and was reading, Sunrise on the Reaping. This book, I feel like it's said all over social media, this book will destroy you. And I was warned by the person when I was buying it, like, you should read it, but also have tissues and be available to not do anything for the next couple days when you have to emotionally recover. It's really, really good. And I think what made it interesting for me is having read the main trilogy and being familiar with that, going into this book, you know who wins because you know who has to win, because that's a fact in the main trilogy that you know who's going to win the Hunger Games. And it's really interesting because it's one of those books where you go in reminding yourself, like, don't get too attached to this character because you know that they're gonna die. And you still do, and it's still really hard. But it's also so good, and I've been seeing stuff about the movie being worked on, and I'm really excited for that as well. I'm not sure. I've been trying not to look at that too much just because I wanted to make sure that I can have my thoughts about this book and do the review of it before I see too much about what the movie is going to be, because I feel like I think it's the same director who did the original trilogy adaptation. So I feel like that team has been pretty loyal to the books, which I enjoy, and I hope it continues that way. I feel like the casting, from what I've seen so far, is really good. I'm really excited for it. But very good. Definitely do make sure that you can be emotionally vulnerable with it and have time to process it if you get really attached to characters. I know people tend to get really attached to characters in that universe especially, so very good. But also, yes, it might emotionally destroy you. And then the one that I just finished last night, actually, is Brut, which is the poetry book that I was gonna read. And this is a really, really interesting book. This is one that I didn't really know exactly what the theme of it was gonna be, just because I was not the one who picked out this book. Someone gave it to me. I don't remember who gave it to me, but someone, like one of my relatives, gave it to me. And so I definitely have some thoughts about the theme of it that I will talk about more in detail in the review. And interestingly enough, one of the books I'm in the middle of reading right now is The Cellar, and I thought that that was going to be the book where I have to give a lot of content warnings when I do the review, because it's rough so far. There are several things going on. But this one, I have to give so many thematic content warnings for this, which I kind of wasn't expecting from poetry, and I know as a published poet myself, poetry can be really raw and vulnerable and express a lot of really important but also difficult things. And so I think it's really important that that is acknowledged and appreciated. But this one was definitely really fascinating to read for me, just because it's about sort of domestic violence in a way that I personally have been fortunate enough to not have experienced, but the way that it's written about is so visceral and vulnerable that it like brings you into that scenario in a really, really profound way. And I feel like it would probably be really useful to people who may be in a situation like that, because it's kind of written in a way where it starts in kind of like a hopeless, trapped way, and then by the end, through the poems, it's gotten into more of like a free, like broken but healing, but also kind of like changing self-doubt, self-pity, and self-blame into like anger at the things that were actually the problem, which I think is definitely probably a helpful thing if people are in a similar situation like that. And so I'll talk about that more in the review that I do of that one fully. But those are the 7 more that I have read, bringing my total for this year to 14 that I've read. I have my paper with all of them. Highlighted in pink are the ones I'd finished the last time I did this update, and highlighted in yellow are the ones that I finished now. I'm still in progress reading Storm Thief, Sincerely Your Autistic Child, The Cellar, The Wanderer, and Sun Warrior, which I've been reading since the last time. But I got really distracted by having to read the Stephanie Garber ones and Sunrise on the Reaping and some of the other ones. So I'm going to try and finish those ones. And I am also going to try and finish as many of the rest of them as I can this year. Again, I'm going back to college really soon. So I've finished 14 out of 42. I don't know that it's realistic for me to be able to finish all of them this year. This is also kind of the first year that I've really seriously been back to posting on this channel and really actively trying to read every single day, which I haven't done as consistently because I was doing an internship and I'm still in the internship, and I have been doing a lot of stuff trying to recover from burnout, getting everything situated, moving, getting ready to go back to college, all this stuff. So, we'll see. This was kind of an experiment. I originally started with fewer, but then I had to add 4 more because Sunrise on the Reaping came out, and then the Stephanie Garber series I had to read immediately. So, we'll see how much I get done. This is probably going to be my last progress update of the year, and the rest will just be reviews. But then at the end of the year, I plan to do a thing where I say what I did finish and what I'm carrying over into the next year. I will be finishing up school within the next year, so I will hopefully have more time to read after that. But I think, considering everything that's been going on, I'm pretty happy with how much I've gotten done. I packed all of the rest of the books to bring with me, so I'm definitely going to be reading them. And I feel like there are a few that I kind of have higher on my list right now for various reasons, and so I'm going to try and get those done. But this has been a crazy year. I've read some really good books, though, and I'm really excited to get back into posting regularly, and thank you for being patient about me kind of vanishing for a couple weeks. Things were just really crazy. I didn't really have a good place to record set up yet, and just everything was really hectic. So with that, let me know what you're reading and how your progress is on whatever reading goal you have for this year. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and keep reading. Bye!